The sky burned red over Sector 9. No one knew why the alien siren started screaming. No one knew why the sky cracked open like glass, or why the ground began to shake like thunder. But when the first blast hit the outer defense towers, the humans knew. This wasn't a drill. This was war. In a tiny outpost on the edge of the Andros belt, 2 human soldiers were the only ones left awake during the night shift. One was Corporal Jace, a sharp-tongued engineer who preferred machines over people. The other was Sergeant Lena, a quiet woman with nerves of steel and a history full of classified missions. Both had seen battle before. But nothing like this. "What the hell is that?" Jace asked, staring at the radar. The screen flashed red. Hundreds, no thousands of heat signatures were moving fast toward them. Lena didn't answer. She was already pulling on her armored vest. "Wake the others, now." But before Jace could move, a violet pulse beam smashed through the north wall, sending smoke and fire into the cold air. Alarms screamed. Everything was chaos. Jace grabbed his toolkit. Lena grabbed her rifle. Within seconds, enemy ships appeared in the sky. But they weren't the usual kind. These weren't pirates. These weren't mercenaries. They were something new. Something they hadn't seen in any database. Tall, metallic. Creatures walked like beasts and roared like machines. They were fast, silent, and deadly. Jace and Lena had only one option: run. As they escaped into the lower tunnels of the base, Lena opened a secure map. "There's an old underground hangar. Below this section. We might find a transport shuttle if it hasn't been blown up." Jace coughed through the smoke. "Let's just hope someone remembered to fuel it." They rushed through narrow corridors. Fire lit the walls. The base trembled. Screams echoed from above, then silence. In one of the storage chambers, they heard a strange sound, a voice, not human, not robotic. It was soft, weak, and scared. Lena raised her rifle. "We're not alone." They opened the chamber, and that's when they saw her. She stood about 5'6", wrapped in a torn silver cloak. Her skin shimmered like polished crystal. 2 glowing eyes stared back at them, frightened but focused. She wasn't armed. She wasn't attacking. She was just breathing. Barely. Jace blinked. "She's not one of the invaders." Lena lowered her weapon slightly. "She's not human either." The girl spoke. Her voice trembled as if the words tasted foreign. I am not your enemy. Please, let me help." Lena didn't trust her, not yet. But she noticed the girl's hands. They were shaking, but not from fear, from exhaustion. Her wrists were scarred, as if she'd been chained. "What's your name?" Lena asked. The girl hesitated. "I am Ari." Jace scoffed. "Well, Ari, unless you've got a secret weapon under that cloak, we're kind of in the middle of dying right now." Ari nodded slowly. "I can guide you to a safer route. I was once prisoner here. I know the base. And I know who these enemies are." "Who are they?" She took a breath. "They are called the Varnock. Machines, but not built by any living race. They spread like a virus. I escaped them, but they've come back." Lena narrowed her eyes. "Why would you help us?" Ari stepped forward. "Because if I don't, no one survives." They didn't have time to argue. Another explosion rocked the tunnel. Jace, Lena, and Ari moved fast through the underground maze. Every step was uncertain. Every turn could mean death. But with Ari leading them, they stayed one step ahead of the invaders. Finally, they reached the old hangar and found it guarded. 3 Varnock sentries scanned the area with glowing red eyes. Their bodies looked like steel insects, each carrying pulse rifles. On their backs, Jace whispered. "So, what's the plan?" Lena glanced at Ari. "You said you know this place. Do you know how to beat them?" Ari slowly lifted her hands. "I know how to distract them, but I need you both to trust me." Without waiting, she walked out into the open. The sentries turned to her, weapons aimed. Lena tensed. What is she doing? Suddenly, Ari's body began to glow. Her silver skin pulsed with light. She raised her arms and a strange hum filled the air. The Varnock paused, almost confused. That's when Lena took her chance. She rolled into cover and shot the first two in the head with pinpoint accuracy. Jace threw a thermal spike into the third, blasting it into sparks. The room went quiet. Ari fell to her knees. Blood trickled from her nose. Jace ran to her. Hey, you okay? She smiled faintly. I warned you. We are bound now. The three of us. Like it or not. This war just became ours to fight. Jace helped Ari to her feet, his hands trembling. Her silver skin felt warm. Too warm, like a furnace, burning under the surface. He looked at Lena, confused. She said we're bound. What does that even mean? Ari didn't answer. She was weak, her eyes flickering like dimming stars. Lena moved quickly. We don't have time for riddles. Get her on the shuttle. If it still flies, we're getting out of here. The underground hangar was filled with broken machines, old crates, and thick dust. But in the back, beneath a large tarp, was what they had hoped for. A small, one-winged transport shuttle. Jace pulled off the tarp. It's old, but if the engine still has juice, I can get it flying. Lena laid Ari in the co-pilot seat and watched as Jace got to work. His fingers flew across wires and panels. Sparks flew. Steam hissed. Outside, the tunnel lights flickered. The Varnock were getting closer. Jace yelled, I need 3 more minutes. Ari's voice was faint. They won't give us that long. Suddenly, the walls began to shake again. The sound of metal crawling and scraping echoed closer. A low, buzzing growl filled the chamber. Then, boom! The tunnel door exploded inward, and a tall figure stepped out of the smoke. It wasn't like the others. This Varnock was huge, almost twice the size of the sentries. Its chest glowed red, and long steel blades extended from its arms. Great, Jace muttered. A mini-boss. Lena didn't wait. She took a deep breath and charged forward. She threw a smoke grenade to blind the creature and opened fire. The bullets bounced off its armor like pebbles. The Varnock swung one blade at her. She rolled under it just in time, firing at its leg joint. The Varnock roared. Behind her, Ari tried to stand again. Her voice was weak, but her hand reached out toward Lena. She can't win like this. I have to help, Jace shouted from the cockpit. No, don't move, you're bleeding. Ari ignored him. She placed both hands on the side panel of the ship and whispered something in her language. Her eyes glowed, and the ship responded. Jace's monitor lit up with strange code. What the ship just powered up. It recognizes me, Ari said quietly. My people built it long ago, before the war, before the machines. The Varnock slammed Lena against a wall. Her rifle fell. Sparks flew from the shattered lights above her head. She coughed, dazed. The Varnock raised its blade for the final strike. Then a pulse of energy hit it square in the chest. Ori stood in the center of the hangar now, eyes glowing, her cloak burning off from the heat of her own power. Her voice echoed unnaturally. You were made to destroy. I was born to survive. The Varnock turned to her and roared again. Jace grabbed Lena and pulled her to the shuttle. We have to go. No, Lena said, still breathing hard. We can't leave her. But Ari wasn't running. She was evolving. Metal markings appeared along her arms and legs. Armor, grown from her own body. Her voice was calm now. I can't kill it alone, but I can hold it. Get out of here, regroup, then we fight together. Lena gritted her teeth. You said we're bound. Then we're not leaving you behind. She limped back out of the shuttle. Jace cursed under his breath, grabbed 2 shock grenades, and followed. What happened next felt like something from a dream. Lena distracted the Varnock again, circling it, while Jace tossed a grenade right beneath its feet. The explosion rocked the ground. Sparks flew from its back. Ari leapt forward, slicing her arm across the Varnock's throat with a blade made from energy. The creature let out a monstrous screech. Its chest glowed brighter. Then it exploded into a ball of red light and vanished, into ash. Silence. Only their heavy breathing filled the room now. Jace laughed nervously. So? Are we a team now? Lena gave him a tired look. Don't push it. Ori dropped to her knees, drained once again. This time, Lena caught her. No more sacrifices. We fight together now. You said we're bound, so explain it. What are you? Ori whispered. I am not fully alien. My mother was human. My father was not. I was created to bridge the gap between two species. Jace blinked. Wait, you're half human? Ori nodded slowly. I was hidden here long ago. They feared I'd be hunted. Looks like they were right. Lena looked at her. And the Varnock? They want to erase anything that stands between their war and the stars, and now, that includes us. The shuttle engines roared to life. As they flew out of the collapsing hangar and into the burning sky, the bond between the three was no longer just about survival. It was something deeper. They had a mission now, together, and none of them could. Guess what waited in the stars ahead? The small shuttle tore through the smoke-filled sky. The planet burned below them. Buildings collapsed, forests turned to ash, and the dark shapes of enemy warships hovered like vultures in the clouds. Inside the ship, silence filled the cabin. Jace piloted. Lena watched the radar. Ori sat quietly. In the back, her arms wrapped around her knees. None of them spoke. Not yet. Only after they broke through the upper atmosphere, escaping the worst of the chaos, did anyone breathe easy. Where to? Jace finally asked. Lena turned. Ori? The alien girl didn't look up. There's a place, a neutral station, hidden in the asteroid field of Zelanis. Jace blinked. That's a pirate nest. No laws, no safety. Ori's voice was soft but firm. Exactly. Which means the Varnock won't go there, they hate chaos. Lena nodded. Set course, let's regroup, rearm, and find out what we're really up against. Hours passed. The ship floated through the darkness of space, weaving between debris and old wrecks, silent graveyards of forgotten battles. Jace took the chance to run repairs. He was muttering to himself while reattaching a cracked panel. Lena checked the weapon system and scanned for tracking signals. So far nothing, but her gut told her that peace was temporary. Then Ori spoke. I didn't tell you everything. Lena looked up sharply. About what? About why I'm important, why the Varnock really want me. Jace sat down across from her, tools in hand. Okay, spill it. Ori looked between them. Her silver eyes shimmered. My body carries a code, not just memories, but a living key. Lena raised an eyebrow. A key to what? Ori hesitated, then whispered. To their shut-down protocol. The air in the cabin turned cold. Even the ship's hum felt quieter now. You're saying, Jace asked slowly, you can turn the Varnock off? Ori nodded. My father was one of their creators, a scientist who feared what he helped build. He hid the last piece of the shutdown command. Inside me. Lena crossed her arms. Why didn't you say this before? Because the last people I told tried to cut it out of me. Ori looked away. They didn't believe I was part human. They only saw a weapon. Lena softened a little. You're not a weapon, Ori. You're the only hope we've got. Suddenly a sharp beep came from the control panel. Jace jumped. Someone's tracking us. Lena rushed to the screen. One ship, fast, no signature, could be a bounty hunter. Ori stood slowly. No, that's not a bounty hunter. That's a seeker. Lena's eyes narrowed. What's that? A Varnock assassin. They send them when brute force fails. It's programmed to follow me, only me. It can track my biology across galaxies. Jace muttered. Well, that's just great. The shuttle shook as something fast zipped by the hull. Red lights flashed. The enemy ship had caught up and it wasn't firing. It was testing them. It wants to capture me alive, Ori said. It won't attack the shuttle directly. It'll board. Lena grabbed her weapon. Let it try. The enemy ship latched onto theirs like a spider clinging to prey. Metallic. Claws pierced the hull. Sparks flew as the door to the cargo hold began to melt. Jace sealed the cockpit. That buys us a few minutes. Lena handed Ari a pistol. Ever used one of these? Ari nodded grimly. Once. The door blew open, with a violent boom and smoke poured in. Then, silence. Then, footsteps. A tall humanoid figure walked through the smoke. Jet black, no face, no eyes, only a pulsing red orb where its heart should be. It didn't speak, it didn't need to. It knew who it was after. Lena fired first, direct hit to the chest. Nothing happened. Jace threw a shock charge. No effect. The Seeker moved faster than anything they had ever seen. It swung a blade at Lena. She ducked just in time. Ori jumped in front of her, activating the energy field she'd used before. The blade bounced off, barely, but the Seeker grabbed Ari's throat, lifting her off the floor. "You are the core," it said in a broken mechanical voice. "Extraction required," Lena screamed. "Let her go!" She fired again, this time into the red orb. The Seeker staggered back, just enough for Ori to blast its chest with her glowing palm. Boom! It flew into the wall, leaving a dent, but it wasn't dead. It began crawling back. "Get out!" Jace shouted. "I'll overload the chamber." "No!" Ori cried, but it was too late. Jace slammed the door shut and triggered a plasma overload. The Seeker turned its head to look at him, unafraid. Then, blast. The ship rocked violently. When the smoke cleared, the Seeker's body was in pieces, but its red core still blinked. Ori walked up slowly, shaking, and placed her palm over the orb. "Sleep," she whispered. The light faded. The Seeker was finally dead. Lena helped Jace up. "You okay?" He grinned weakly. "That thing punched like a planet." Ori stood silent for a moment, then looked up. "That was just one. There are more. Many more. And they won't stop." Lena looked at her. "Then we stop them first." Jace looked between the two of them. "Guess we really are a team now." Ari smiled, just a little. "You don't know it yet, but we're going to save more than just ourselves." Lena smirked. "Let's start by surviving one more day." The stars around them faded as the shuttle entered the dense asteroid field of Zelanis. Massive chunks of spinning rock drifted silently in the dark void. Some were large as cities. Others moved like traps, fast and hidden. Jace slowed the shuttle, carefully weaving through the deadly maze. "This place gives me the creeps," he muttered. Lena sat beside him, scanning for life signs. "We're not here for comfort, we're here for answers." Behind them, Ori leaned against the wall, still pale from the fight with the Seeker. "This station isn't safe, but it's the only place that might help us." As they passed a crescent-shaped rock, an old beacon blinked red. A docking signal. They'd found it. Station K-17, the forgotten hideout of pirates, exiles, and mercenaries. A place where credits bought silence, and secrets could be traded like weapons. The shuttle docked inside a dark hangar bay. Steam hissed from vents. Lights flickered. No guards, no greetings. "This doesn't feel like a warm welcome," Jace said, gripping his tool belt tighter. Lena led the way. "Stay alert. Keep weapons low, but ready." Ari pulled up her hood, hiding her silver features. "I can't be seen. Too many species would recognize me and sell me for credits." They walked down a narrow hallway, passing rusted doors, flickering holograms, and strange alien eyes watching from the shadows. The station smelled like oil, smoke, and fear. They reached a small bar built into the rock. Inside were aliens from across the galaxy. Reptilian smugglers, furry traders, cyborg thieves, and drunk bounty hunters. All heads turned as the three stepped in. Lena spotted a short creature with 6 arms cleaning glasses. His mechanical eye whirred as he saw her. Well, he said, voice raspy. "Didn't expect you, Ghost of Terra." Jace raised a brow. "Ghost of what now?" Lena ignored him. "We need information, Taro, fast and private." Taro smirked. "Private. Costs extra. Ari stepped forward and placed a glowing crystal on the counter. Will this cover it? The bar fell silent. Every eye locked on the crystal. Taro's expression changed. Greedy. Nervous. Curious. He grabbed the crystal and motioned toward the back room. Come. Quickly. Behind a steel door in a dark room lit only by blue lights, Taro poured them drinks. So, he said slowly, what's the ghost of Tara doing with a half-blood alien and a twitchy engineer? Lena leaned forward. We need to find out where the Varnock are being built. Taro laughed bitterly. You don't find the Varnock, they find you. Those things are ghosts now. No one knows who controls them. No one wants to know. Ari spoke softly. I do. Taro blinked, then leaned closer. You're the living key, aren't you? Lena's hand dropped to her weapon. How do you know that? Rumors. Old stories. About a girl with metal in her blood and power in her bones. Some say she's a myth. Some say she's death. Ari stayed silent. Taro continued. There's a name whispered in pirate circles. The Forge. That's where the Varnock rise. Deep space. No coordinates. But someone does know. Who? Lena asked. Taro looked uneasy. A smuggler named Craven. Works from the dead orbit, dangerous, unstable. But he's been near the Forge. And lived. Jace frowned. So we track him? Taro nodded. Yes, but be warned. Craven doesn't trade in credits, he trades in deals. As they prepared to leave the bar, Lena stopped. Something was off. The station had gone quiet. Too quiet. Jace noticed it too. Where's the music? The noise? That's when Ari gasped. They're here. Lena turned. Who? Ari whispered. Bounty hunters. They've sensed me. Suddenly, the bar doors slammed open. A squad of armored aliens stepped in, weapons drawn. The lead one barked, Turn over the girl. Now, Jace muttered. Great, just once I want a quiet drink. Lena pushed Ori behind her. She's not going anywhere. Blasters were raised, then, boom, smoke grenade. Lena moved fast, knocking one alien out with a kick. Jace used his shock gauntlet on another. Ori dodged low, knocking a shelf onto two more. The fight was quick, messy, and brutal. They escaped back into the corridor. As they ran, alarms blared through the station. More hunters would come. The price on Ari's head was rising. By the second, back to the ship, Jace shouted. Ari was panting, her energy nearly gone. We can't keep running forever. Lena grabbed her hand. Then we don't. We find Craven. We hit the forge. And we end this. The shuttle doors closed just as another hunter squad arrived. The engines roared to life. One bounty hunter fired a plasma shot, but it bounced off the hull as they blasted into space. Inside the cockpit, Lena turned to Ari. You okay? Ari nodded. Yes, but next time, no more bars. Jace chuckled. Agreed. Then Lena looked out at the stars. Set course for dead orbit. Let's find this Craven, and let's start hunting the machines before they finish hunting us. Far. Beyond the safe zones of the galaxy, the stars grew colder, darker. The dead orbit wasn't a place. It was a graveyard. A cursed region where dead ships floated like ghosts, twisted wrecks of wars long forgotten. No planets, no light, no laws. The small shuttle approached. Ori sat in silence. Her silver eyes were distant, almost afraid. Jace adjusted the controls. I don't like this. Every sensor's going blind. Lena checked her pistol. We're not here for a vacation. We're here for Craven. Ori finally spoke. And we must be careful. He's not like others. His mind was touched by the Varnock. But somehow he survived, Jace muttered. Let's hope he's still mostly sane. The shuttle docked with a floating station built from broken warships, fused together like junk. It looked like it shouldn't still exist. No guards, no welcome, just drifting silence. Inside, the halls were filled with flickering lights and strange symbols. Broken screens played half-destroyed footage, Screams. War. Fire. A voice crackled. Through the air. You've come. For knowledge. They all froze. The voice continued. Come to the chamber. Alone. Jace shook his head. That's not creepy at all. Lena turned to Ori. Stay here. Jace, guard her. I'll go. Ori touched Lena's arm. No, he'll talk to me. He already knows I'm here. They followed the voice down twisted metal, corridors until they reached a large round chamber. At the center was Craven. He was once human, but now barely. His skin was half covered in black metal. His eyes glowed faint red, and strange wires snaked into his skull from a breathing mask. He didn't move when they entered, just stared. So, the half-blood lives. Ori stepped forward. You know who I am. Craven grinned behind his mask. I knew your father. He tried to stop what he helped create. I warned him. Once the Varnock awaken, they never sleep again. Lena raised her weapon. We need the location of the forge. Craven laughed. It was a dry, broken sound. Of course you do. Everyone does, right before they die. Jace snapped. Look, if you're going to be insane, can you at least be useful? Craven turned to him, amused. You must be the mechanic. The one who thinks tools fix everything. He looked at Lena. And you? The soldier who hides her guilt behind orders. Then his eyes locked onto Ori. But you are new. You are hope, and that is what they fear most. Ori remained calm. Tell us where the forge is. Craven sat forward. I will. But not for free. I want something. Jace groaned. Of course. Here we go. Craven opened his hand, revealing a glowing, red shard. It pulsed like a heart. This is a piece of the original Varnock core. I extracted it myself. I need her to touch it. Lena stepped forward. Why? Craven smiled. Because only she can unlock what it hides. Ori stepped closer, unsure. What happens if I do? Craven's voice grew soft. You will see what they fear, what they plan. Lena grabbed Ori's arm. This could be a trap. Ori looked into her eyes. If I don't try, we stay blind. She touched the shard. A blinding flash filled the room. Ori's body froze. Her eyes turned completely silver. She collapsed. Lena screamed, rushing to her. Ori! But Craven held up a hand. Don't touch her, she's inside. They're mine now. Inside Ori's vision, she stood in a black space filled with fire and circuits. She saw planets, burning, fleets, falling, machines, marching. She saw the forge. It was not a factory. It was a being, a living AI buried inside a dead star, building new Varnock, feeding them with rage. Then she saw something worse, a shadow of herself, a perfect Varnock clone. Same face, same voice, but empty inside. It turned and said, You are too late. The war has already begun. Ori gasped and awoke in Lena's arms. Jace kneeled beside them. You okay? What did you see? Ori clutched her head. The forge, it's alive. And it's building an army. Lena asked softly. Where? Ori looked up. Inside the dead star, Sector Zeta 9. No ship goes there because the gravity field crushes them. But there's a way in, a hidden path. I saw it. Craven nodded. Then you've passed the test. I kept the shard hidden so they couldn't see me. But you were born to face them. Lena stood. Then we go there. We finish this. Before they left, Craven gave them one final warning. You'll need more than weapons, you'll need faith in each other. Because when you face the heart of the forge, it will try to break you from the inside. Ori whispered. We're ready. Craven smiled once more. Then go and remind the stars why they should fear humans. Back on the shuttle, as they pulled away from dead orbit, the mood had changed. There was fear, but also fire. Lena looked ahead. Set course for the dead star. Jace nodded. Hope this ship doesn't turn into scrap halfway there, Ori whispered. They're waiting for us, and this time, we fight as one. Space felt heavier as the shuttle neared Sector Zeta 9, the final edge of known space. Here, light twisted unnaturally. Gravity waves bent even the strongest scanners. Ahead lay the Dead Star, a collapsed giant surrounded by glowing debris and pitch-black silence. Lena stared at the swirling storm ahead. If we make one wrong move, we're space dust. Jace was pale, hands gripping the flight stick. Great, no pressure. Ori stood between them, calm but focused. The Varnock built their forge inside the star's remains, but I saw a path. One. They don't guard because no machine would dare use it. It's organic, alive, and dangerous. Jace's jaw dropped. You want us to fly through a living tunnel? Lena exhaled. We've come too far to turn back now. Ori guided them with instinct. She closed her eyes and placed her glowing hand on the nav console. The ship responded, almost as if it recognized her presence. Suddenly, the stars vanished. Around them was flesh. Not metal, not rock. A massive red membrane opened like a mouth, and the shuttle slipped inside. The living tunnel was filled with pulsing walls, twitching tendrils, and glowing nerves that reacted to sound. Jace gagged. Okay. Nope. This is the worst place I've ever been. Lena kept her eyes on the scanners. Stay sharp. If this place has defenses, they won't be mechanical. Then they heard it. A heartbeat. The tunnel began to shift. Walls moved, trying to crush them. Tendrils lashed at the shuttle, slapping the hull with sickening squelches. Evasive, Lena shouted. Jace pulled the controls hard to the left. Sparks flew. One engine caught fire. Ori concentrated harder. It's testing us. We have to pass through without fear. Jace snapped. Easy for you to say. I fear everything right now. Lena shouted. Shut up and fly. Suddenly, Ori leaned forward and sang. Just a single, strange note, soft and ancient. The tunnel responded. The tendrils froze. The heartbeat slowed. The path cleared. Jace blinked. Did you just sing to a star? Ori smiled faintly. I sang to what's left of its soul. Finally, the shuttle burst out into open space again, but it wasn't normal space. In the heart of the Dead Star, floating like a crown of knives, was the forge, a massive black structure built from metal and bone, surrounded by thousands of Varnock ships. It pulsed with red light, alive and waiting. Jace stared in awe. That's it. That's where they're coming from. Lena stood. And that's where we end them. Ori turned slowly. There's a core deep inside. If I reach it, I can trigger the shutdown signal, but I need help. The forge will fight back, not just with machines, but with our fears. They docked near a hidden exhaust port on the forge's outer shell. Inside it was worse than they imagined. Walls made of writhing wires. Half-alive bodies trapped in machines. Echoes of screams long gone. Suddenly, a hologram appeared. It was Ari's face, but corrupted. Smiling with sharp teeth and glowing red eyes. Welcome home, sister, it said. Ori froze. It's my clone. The one I saw in the vision. The forge made it from my stolen DNA. It thinks it's me. Lena raised her weapon. Then let's teach it the difference. They moved through the forge's twisted halls. Jace disabled traps while Lena led the way with her rifle ready. Ari's light helped them stay on path. But the deeper they went, the more the forge invaded their minds. Jace heard voices, his father, blaming him for leaving Earth. Lena saw ghosts of fallen soldiers, accusing her of surviving when they didn't. Even Ari struggled. She saw a vision of herself, standing with the Varnock, leading the destruction of Earth. She fell to her knees. I can't. What if they're right? Lena grabbed her arm. They're not. You're not a weapon. You're our friend. Jace added. You're the only reason we're still alive. That means something. Ari blinked the tears away. Her glow returned. Then let's finish this. They reached the core chamber. And there she stood, the clone, identical to Ari, but twisted, cold, heartless. "Only one of us can exist," the clone said, "and I am stronger." Lena raised her gun, but the clone raised her hand and froze them in place using magnetic energy. "You taught them emotions," she hissed at Ori. "I was made perfect, you were made weak." Ori struggled, then whispered, "No, I was made human." Then from her chest she pulled a shard of her father's final gift, the last key. She pressed it into the console behind the clone. Light exploded. The entire chamber shook. Varnock across the forge stopped moving. Lena and Jace dropped to the floor, free again. The clone screamed, but her voice warped and faded. She shattered into fragments of light, vanishing like dust in the wind. Ari collapsed, breathing hard. "It's done." Jace caught her. "You did it." But Ari looked up, weak. "No, not yet. We need to escape. The forge is collapsing." They ran, the halls cracked. Fire burst from the ceilings. Machines exploded. The shuttle was shaking by the time they reached it. Jace jumped into the cockpit. Come on. Lena helped Ori in. "Hold on." The shuttle blasted off, just as the forge imploded behind them in a wave of red energy. They were thrown clear. Space was quiet again. No more Varnock signals. No more red lights. Just stars. Ori opened her eyes slowly. "Is it over?" Lena smiled. "For now, you saved everyone." Jace leaned back in the pilot seat. "So, what do we do now?" Ori looked at both of them. "We find the next lost star, and make sure this never happens again." 3 days passed since the forge exploded. The Varnock network had gone silent across the galaxy. No more attacks, no more red eyes. The machines were gone, truly gone, but peace came with a cost. Inside the medical bay of a quiet rebel station, Ari lay unconscious. Her body glowed dimly, as if the light inside her was fading. Jace sat beside her, head in his hands. "She hasn't moved." Lena stood near the window watching the stars. She used everything she had to destroy the forge. Her mind, her energy, her core, all of it. "Then we save her," Jace said. "We owe her." Lena turned. "We already tried. No medtech can repair her." Jace looked up. "Then maybe we stop thinking like soldiers." Later that day, Lena walked into the room carrying something wrapped in cloth, a metal cube, humming softly. "The last piece of tech from Craven. He said this was dangerous," she whispered. "But it's also connected to her father. Maybe it has what we need." They powered it on. A hollow recording appeared. Ori's father, younger, alive. "If you're watching this," he said, "my daughter has done what I never could. She shut down the machine god. But her body was made with balance, half human, half code. And if the forge is destroyed, that balance may fall apart." Jace leaned forward. "So what do we do?" The message ended with one line. "She needs a choice. Don't decide for her." They brought the cube to Ari's side. Jace connected it to her chest panel. The light from the cube entered her body like breath returning to lungs. A moment passed, then two. Then Ari's fingers twitched. Her eyes fluttered open. She gasped and a light burst from her chest, then slowly faded back to normal. Jace grabbed her hand. "You're back." She blinked at them. Did we win?" Lena smiled. "You did. You saved billions." Ori sat up slowly, looking at her hands. "I feel different, lighter, but also lost." Jace said gently, "You can rest now. You don't have to fight anymore." Ori looked at them both. "But I don't want to rest. Not yet. There's more out there. Broken systems, hidden threats. I felt them in the Forge's mind." The next morning, the station commander invited them to a meeting. Across dozens of screens, leaders of alien species, rebel cells, and human colonies gathered to speak with the three who stopped the Varnock. "You destroyed the Forge," said one alien leader. You've done what no fleet could. What now? Lena answered first. Peace, Jace added, and rebuilding. Then Ari stood up, still weak, but proud. She spoke clearly. We don't need more wars, but we do need to understand each other. No more hiding, no more walls between species. We build together, or we fall apart again. There was silence. Then, applause. Outside the station, as they looked out at the stars, Jace kicked his boots up on the rail. So, this is the part where we ride off into the stars? Lena chuckled. You're not getting rid of me that easy. Ari walked up, wearing a new jacket, half rebel, half explorer. Her silver eyes glowed gently in the moonlight. I've been offered a ship, she said. They want me to lead a mission to restore lost systems. Lena raised an eyebrow. And you're going? Ari nodded. But not alone. I want both of you with me. Jace blinked. Us? On a diplomatic team? Ari smiled. No, on a team. Period. Whatever we find out there, I want to face it with you two. Jace looked at Lena. She looked back at him. He shrugged. Well, someone has to keep you both alive. Lena grinned. Then let's get to work. Ari stepped forward and placed her hands on theirs. 3 different beings, human, hybrid, soldier, engineer, friends, family, forged by fire, bound by battle, and now, facing the stars not as survivors, but as protectors.